Whoop whoop! X Harper here, WWE2k19. Today we are going to be talking about arena creation. It's Friday. It's a good day. It's a good day to be watching videos. It's a good day to be playing games. So I hope you're sitting down comfortable and for you. Now, if you don't know me, one of my specialities on this game when it comes to community creations is arenas and creating old and authentic arenas, particularly from WCW, that I give to you guys. A little gift filled with love and happiness. So just to show you, these are the arenas that I've created. As you can see, loads of them are from like WCW 1997, Bash of the Beach 96 there. I've got some ECW arenas, I've got some old school WWF arenas, and I've recently updated some WrestleMania, actually doing quite well with the downloads. By the way, just gone over 12,000 downloads! Happy boys. Okay. So without going any further into this, what I'm doing today is I'm having a look at my universe. I'm working hard at this for like 3 solid days now, trying to edit everything and get everything right, ready to start playing and filming and doing some live videos and streaming, blah, 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 for you guys, the audience, to watch and enjoy. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but what I do want to do is show you something. So I'm going to go to the calendar. Now, these are the arenas I have. This is my universe mode. I'm not going to go into it too much because I want to do separate videos on universe. But what I do want to show you are the fact that I have WWE and ECW collaborative events. I have WCW events, but I also have WWE and WCW collaborative events. So what I've been doing is I create arenas for every one of these pay-per-views so that I have, and I also base it around like the 90s era. So I've been creating these events around that sort of era to try and keep it authentic as possible. And basically I'm down to my last one, which is this little one here, WrestleMania, the small minority event of the year, WrestleMania! So I need to create an arena for it. And what I thought I'd do today is actually record it and show you guys what I do to create arenas and the little things that I add and tweak to make the arena feel more authentic and genuine to the time frame that I'm trying to keep it in, because it may help you guys when you're trying to recreate arenas from the bygone days of the past, in whatever era that is in. So let's jump into arena. I'm excited. If you can't tell that I'm excited, firstly, it's Friday. Secondly, I've got 12,000 downloads. Thirdly, I'm so close to being able to play through universe mode. I haven't played any mode yet. Not a single mode in this game. I've been playing one-on-one matches every now and then, but I have not been playing through any modes because I've been solidly playing games. Oh, can you do universe mode? Do you want me to? You're asking me to do that right now? And hello, by the way. I will be doing universe mode videos from tomorrow onwards. I'm going to start doing them actually for a couple of days, then I'm on holiday for a week, and then once I'm back I'm going to start hitting it hard with my universe mode. Also, I want to get some more cores that are on community creations. Hopefully in a week's time the ones that I'm looking for will be released, but at the moment they're not on there. So for now, I'm just going through my create an arena, showing you guys how I do that, and hopefully you'll learn something a little bit new, a bit different. So like I said, my WrestleManias are all old school based, 90s, late 90s, Attitude Era styly, so I don't like my arenas to be too flamboyant. Even the one that you can see in front of you now, the template is a little bit too extravagant. So I always go with template 2 because that's the arena, but it's also a very old school sort of style. Titantron, Minitron, walls, all of that stuff makes it a lot easier and faster for me to be able to create with it. From there I go to base design, and then of course you have in stage design all of the sort of templates that you can use from years gone by. Now, because I'm doing WrestleMania, I want to do something that feels authentic, but also merges in a little bit of modern era technology. And then I also want to remember that because my personal universe mode incorporates WE and WCW, I want to make sure that I get a bit of a WCW feel to WrestleMania as well. I know that's probably sacrilegious, and if Vince McMahon heard me say that, he'd probably tombstone me right here and now. But I don't think he's listening, so we're okay. So like I said, I'm looking through these. I'm probably going to go with a template that is around the time that I actually watched these events myself. I do have an idea in my mind of what I'd like to create today, so it's not going to be completely on the fly. But I also want, what I've got to decide is, do I want the big stage or do I want no stage? Because back in the day, they didn't really have these extravagant stages like WrestleMania 29. But WrestleMania 17 is something closer to what I want, so I'm going to choose that. The venue size I'm happy with, venue size 1, and the reason is very simple. It gives me the crowd pit, which means I can fight outside of the arena, and I like that. Sorry, outside of the ring and in the crowd. Obviously change the crowd type. I love that they've added a few more crowd types on this game. I always go with 1998 to 2000. That's always a winner, or 1998 to 2003. It's always a winner. I always go old school monitors. Not a fan of the new ones, but that's life. I'm sure there are people out there who love it. Movie displays. I actually don't change that just yet. What I actually change is the sub-movie display on the ring. You always want to remove that because old school arenas didn't have these massive LED things going on. So if we go to stage, the first thing I always do is go to light for construction and change it to match lighting. I'm not bothered what it looks like when it's bright. What I want to see is how does it look while the match is going on. If it looks good when it's darker, then it will look great when it's brighter. But if you look at it when it's bright, I actually personally feel that it interrupts the look and the coloration of what you're trying to get. The aesthetic is ruined, essentially. So I always go with dark lighting, and then I work from there. So I go back into do anything with them. Like, I'm stuck with it saying WrestleMania 17 or whatever it's saying. So I just don't want it. So I'm going to get rid of those. I do love them though. I want to tell you that I was hoping to use those as an element on my WrestleMania arena, but I'm not going to be too upset by it. There's a lot of options in here, and I can add a load of stuff. Now, forgive me. There's going to be times when you're going to be looking at this video saying, X Harper, you're a hypocrite. You were telling me a minute ago that you wanted to be authentic to the Attitude Era, and here you are slapping a massive WrestleMania sign in the arena. Well, tough. It's my universe. I want it to look good. I want it to look like WrestleMania. I want it to feel like WrestleMania, but I want it to be unique. I don't want it to feel like just the normal kind of massive Titantron, little mini Tron crap that you always see. I want mine to feel and look a little bit different. So I'm going to delete the Minitron as well. I'm going to delete the header, and I'm going to start here because I've got this nice little rampway which I'm happy with at the moment, and I've got this nice big WrestleMania sign. One problem I have with the WrestleMania sign, and I wish they would change it, I really wish they would allow you to change the colour on these things. It would help me so much to get rid of that purple and replace it with a nice colour, but unfortunately that's how it works. Again, you can see that there's no actual colour change. You can literally just turn it on or off. Again, I like to just play with these things. It's good to have a look just to sort of see what's around, see what's on offer. What I am going to do is jump into base settings and go to stage. No, I'm not going to go in there. I want to change the stage itself. So if I go into stage construction, stage and ramp, stage, this allows you to select any size stage that you want. It does mean that it will affect if you can fight in the arena area. Now, for me, I just really want to add a big stage, but there's one in particular that I fell in love with. Pooh. Can't even use it on this. Got to be an outdoor arena. May change it. I may change it. Oh, this is annoying. Okay, so what I want to do, it's saying that I can only use it with an outdoor arena, essentially. That means I've got to go to venue size, and I've got to change it to one that's outdoor, but it's got to be like outdoor and proper big. It can't be small, and I think it's venue size 2 that's the larger size, because it's outdoors. Huge arena. Definitely looks awesome. Now, jump back in, stage construction. Stage, let's see if it'll let me add, yep. Okay, this is the one I want. I love this stage, very wide, but what I love about it is the little band. I love the fact that it has like the live music band act thing going on. And what's even more fun is that you can actually edit that certain parts of it out, which I really love. So if you don't want those front bits, which are over here, so there's this massive WrestleMania thing. I don't even know what that is, but it's big. I don't want that in. I think it makes it look too big and extravagant. I just want a nice big stage because it's WrestleMania, a nice big sign because it's WrestleMania, and then just some little accessories on the stage that just add a little summit to it without it looking too highly technological. This is my compromise. If you're going to have high technology up here, it's nice to have it something that would look realistic to the time of like the Attitude Era down here. So now that I've got that stage done, I'm actually going to go right in and do the lighting. Now, I'm a gold and black fan. I will tell you that right now. So if you don't like gold and black, you might as well go away and stop watching this video. Please don't. But if you do, it's absolutely fine. I'll just cry. But I love gold and black. I absolutely love that coloration and that scheme. So that's what I always end up using for my Universe Mode WrestleManias. Now, the problem here is that black doesn't look very good when it comes to lighting. So what I'm going to do is choose yellow and white, or like a gold and white. One thing I'll say, if you want to take down the strength of the light, make it darker, but it will retain the color. It's a nice little tip for you. You can see that if I go to the top white brightness, the beams of light are very strong, but if you take it down, eventually it will drop off, but there's a little spot, there's a sweet spot where you can just switch it on and off, and so it still looks like the lights are on, and it still looks white, but it's actually right down here in the greys. As it happens, I'm going to probably put it about middle, halfway through. Like I said, you've got to keep using your right stick at this point, because what you want to do is just have a look and find out, okay, what is this lighting? What am I actually changing here? And so it's really important for you to know what's changing. So I just switch between two and I look around while I'm doing it. And as you can see, this is the ramp light. So I definitely want this to be a different color to the gold. So I'm going to make that white. I'm happy with that color scheme. Again, light for construction, I've already mentioned, should be match lighting so that you can actually see how it would appear in the ring. Okay, so if we go back to the stage construction, I reckon I need a Minitron because I need some sort of entranceway. Now, the problem here is I don't want to be putting this massive WrestleMania, but in fact, let me just zoom out here. Always important for you to do this. Now, I used to use this last year's mode. I used this exact entranceway for my WrestleMania, and I think it looks cool. But this year, I want to do something a little bit different. I'm looking to do things differently from how I had it last year. Now, this isn't sort of Attitude Era entrance that I'm looking at. Now, obviously, that WrestleMania in the background is hidden at the moment because of what I use currently. What I don't like about this, and you can see that I keep doing it and repeating it, but you have to, zooming out is really helpful because it actually puts you in a spot where you can say, okay, how much room do I realistically have on the stage? See, what I don't want to do, I don't want to lose that WrestleMania. What I want is something that's small enough that can jump on there. So that last one that you saw was small enough, but it wasn't really extravagant enough for me either. Especially for WrestleMania, I want it to look at least a little bit nicer than it normally would. Kind of like that, but the problem is, of course, it says WrestleMania 30. Also looks like some sort of WrestleMania porn channel. Don't like that. And now it's just a matter of looking. You have to just watch and see what works best. Now, what I like about this If I think that especially in the old school arenas, movies and all of the sort of technology that came in, it was 2000 plus to me. It wasn't really pre-millennium, it was post. So what I like to do is to choose backgrounds that look kind of cool, but give it a bit of a texture. I don't like using a plain background. I don't think it's good to do that. I always think you should use a textured background. It just makes everything pop a little bit more. But at the same time, you don't want it to be something you can't change the color of. I like the idea of a nice black with some little white pops in there, because what I'm going to add now is the gold, and I'm going to do it by adding my own WrestleMania logo. Wait for it, people. Alright, custom images. Now you're going to see a load of the images that I've obviously installed myself. Some of these you can't download. I'm sorry, I kind of want to at some point. I create my own Backlash. I've done a Breaking Point. I've done an ECW Armageddon logo. There's some really cool ones that I made, and I just haven't chosen them. There's a No Way Out one that I made. Some of these are uploadable already, so if you go and check me out on Community Creations, you can find those. But there's my WrestleMania one. This is a logo that I think I found the PNG for the WrestleMania bit somewhere on the internet. And then I basically nabbed, which in English means stole, a couple of logo elements from WWE, obviously the main logo, and WCW NWO. I've actually created that one myself to make it perfect. Now, what I'm going to do here, I don't know if I hope you can see that I'm trying to keep the WE logo in shot, but I'm also trying to spread out the logo as far as it can without losing the knowledge of what this event is. But also, I don't really want to lose that WE logo being the correct proportions either. So I'm trying to find a happy medium. To me, this is somewhere in this range is what I'm happy with. I think that's not centered, but this is always tricky with the right stick, and I don't like it. I think that they should allow you to switch between the stick and the D-pad, because it would really help you to just nudge it over slightly to get it fully centered. Or if they could actually add a button that would automatically center the logo, that would be even better. Anyway, that's roughly where I'm happy having it. So I'm going to put mine there. You've got this massive WrestleMania logo above this anyway, so I don't think it's too problematic that it's only a relatively small logo. But that's the one I want. And now straight away it's gone up closer, and you can see already it's looking a little bit different, a little bit more customized to the kind of thing I want. Now for headers, I usually like lighting. I think it's important. Whether I put lighting on here or whether I go with this jumbo hat thing that sits on the WrestleMania, I don't know. I wouldn't mind doing it, but to be honest, that's way too over the top for what I'm looking for. What I want is subtle lighting that looks really cool, that adds a bit of light, sprays it around a little bit, and just makes the whole arena look a little bit... No, I don't like that one. I want it to be an old lighting rig, but I don't want it to be so old. And I certainly don't want it to block the WrestleMania sign. Come on, people. That would be ridiculous. So again, what you want to do is you want to add the lighting somewhere. Now, for me, I always push the lighting as far back as it will go. And then what I'm trying to do, if I just try and focus here on... I'm trying to focus here, look, to see where the lighting falls. I want to make sure that the lighting is falling directly on the wrestlers as they enter the ring. So, funnily enough, this lighting rig is cool because it actually does what I want it to. Now, the only problem is you can see the lighting here. This is something I hate on this game with the lighting. It pulls the real harsh light into the crowd and even near to the ring itself. Now, the problem with that, it's fixable, but the problem is it means you need to turn some of the lights off, which can be really frustrating because you don't maximize the use of the lighting system that you have in front of you. And I'll show you that now just so that you can sort of see what I'm talking about. Again, I'm going to come back up and I'm going to focus on the area in front so that you can see where it's affected. Click on light, you just find the light source. If I click it at black, you'll see that the light's instantly dim and there's no lighting evermore. But then if I change colors, some of them, let's just go to sample colors, they all produce different effects. But the problem for me is that each one of them brings too much light to the game. I do not want light being shone on the actual ring during a match, which is another reason I say match lighting is the way forward. What I don't mind is the idea of having a little bit of light, but I can't seem to get a minimal amount. Maybe that's okay. Like, that's just breaking a little bit of light in, but then I love the look of the sort of dark arenas, if I'm honest with you. Now, another thing that you'll notice here, and this is something I think the game has done wrong, the ring itself looks absolutely pitch black. And I noticed this a while back. And before I even do anything now with the lighting, what I'm going to do is just go out and into the lighting setup. Because what I want to sure is that the actual ring is lit up when you turn, but you can see that it's not showing me a lit arena at all. All it's showing me is like this dark arena with lights above the arena that are white but not actually powered. Like, it doesn't look like they're actually turned on. So with that said, what I'm going to try and do is see if changing the light for construction actually helps. Because it may just be that the light for construction is the issue. Because that now looks lit. That looks like a well-lit ring now. And I wonder if that is the key. Okay, well, we're going to go with that. And I'm going to jump back in. I'm knocking down to match lighting. And I'll try this after for you. I'll have a, once I'm finished, I always try all my matches in the arena that I've just created to make sure that I'm happy with everything. And if I'm not, then I just go back and sort of work out what I want to do. Okay, now, what I wanted to do, perfect. That was the thing I forgot to do with this. I wanted to just change the staging so that it appeared more black than it did before. Now, it is WrestleMania, so I feel like I could just drop a massive logo here, but I'm going to have a look. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm just saying that I'm going to have a look at what it looks like. Again, I used a big PNG file, and that is the maximum it lets you go anyway. So, to be quite honest, I'm not a fan of logos on the floor, and that kind of just confirmed why I don't like it. I'm happy with it looking as it does. Now, in terms of, okay, what it's done is it's added something that I didn't want. Stage display, Minitron on, I definitely want that. Header I want, Titantron, I want that. So where is, oh, it's under other. Now, I said this before, I want to keep all the accessories, but I don't want to keep that jumbo sign that's to the right now. Okay, let's go back to where I was. Let's sort this out. Now, what I'm going to do here is basically take that lighting right down to its minimum brightness, and I'm going to leave it there so that it does brighten some of the rampway, but it doesn't really do enough that it affects the ring at all during matches, because I definitely don't want to do that. Now, everything else should be lit up the way that I want it. I'm using the maximum amount of light here. Now, to the ring, finally start on the ring. I feel like this is taking a long time to do this arena, but it is WrestleMania and it's an important one for my universe mode. So, unfortunately, these things do tend to take a lot of time. Floor mat, I always love the classic. I always love it. It's part of, obviously, the look and the feel that I have. I also go with steel barricades. I think because this is WrestleMania, I'm going to change the colour of them so then they're not just steel ones. I'm going to go with black. Accept that. Always remember the fence, because the fence is important to the whole look and feel. Announce tables. Now this is something that I don't usually add tables. If it's a WCW related arena, I tend to keep the tables away. It's not that WCW didn't have them, but at most of their pay-per-views in the late 90s they didn't, so I try and stay true to that. But this is WrestleMania, so I'm absolutely fine with the idea of having a couple of tables. Now, a little trick that I do here that I think you guys may appreciate. Now, when I'm playing the mode, I tend to just make an excuse as to why one of them is dormant. However, what I tend to do is I like to, and this is something that I've only done this year as well. Actually, I want to go into arena images. I've started actually labeling my announce desks in case, because Michael Cole's stupid, isn't he? The guy doesn't even know who's getting hurt in the matches. One of the funniest glitches at the moment, or bugs that I'm seeing in the game, is Michael Cole telling me that the guy I am, who's beating down some other guy, is the one who's actually hurt. Just ridiculous. And maybe it's just real life. Michael Cole calls Renee Young a man, live TV. That's what he's like. I mean, maybe it's just for him. But for my universe mode, this is WCW's commentary booth. But for whatever reason, Bobby the Brain Heenan is somewhere backstage, not where he should be. Tony Schiavone is trying to get his job back at WE. And the other guy who I never remember, but he thinks he knows everything about every technical wrestling move in the world, Mike Tenay, he's just lost. He's just lost somewhere in the ether of the world. Maybe he's at an ECW arena, appreciating their technical brilliance. That wasn't a swipe, by the way, at ECW. I love them. So let's just try and sort this out with the colour. I want it to be white. And as you can tell, if I do this with one, I must therefore do it with the other. So what I do is I jump to the first table. Now, I believe the first table is the one where the actual commentators sit. Otherwise, this is going to be well awkward having WE announcers sitting at the WCW booth. But I'm pretty sure they sit at number 1. So again, what I'm going to do is jump into arena images, and all I do is grab the, not arena, I'm going to go to designs for the WE one, which is here. And then all I do, single, and I just make it nice and small. But that just labels their commentary booth. Don't change the colours, it doesn't need that. Accept it, it's all black. So there you go. I think that's a nice little touch that I've started adding to my arenas. And it actually now gives me a reason, in my head anyway, to explain why the booth isn't filled. Sometimes I'm just like, this is a WE event. If it was a WCW event, then the WE got... Now that I've done the outside of the ring, I can focus on the ring itself. And I think it's really important for you to always do the outside first, because that creates the context in which the match takes place. And I think it's just something I do. I find it easier to create a good ring when I can see the outside as it needs to be. Everything else has now been set up the way that I want it to, and now it's just a matter of working on the ring. So, let's jump in. I'm going to go with black. I'm going to go with full black ring aprons. Now, what I hate about designing in this part of the arena is that when it's dark, I can't see the colours properly. So this is the time, this is the one time when I sometimes have to go in and say to myself, do you know what? I need to change the light for construction so that I can actually see what I'm doing in the ring. Oh, thanks. It didn't bother changing it. That's strange. Oh, how strange. Another bug that I've just discovered. It won't let me change. So it lets me see it here, but while I'm actually creating, it won't let me... that's interesting. Let's try that again. Nope, won't let me do it. Okay, well, I'm going to have to try and do it and hope that it works. The other way of doing this, of course, would be to create the ring itself in a different arena, and then you just switch it over to the arena venue to an outdoor arena, and then you'll see the color difference. But for now, that's what it is. The mat, I like the white mats. I don't really like blue mats. I prefer them to sort of be more of a slightly off-white, almost verging on grey. I don't give them patterns or anything like that. I don't think they should have them. Now, WrestleMania is always difficult, but I like black ropes. But I don't like them to be too... I don't like them to be pitch black. I like them to be sort of not charcoal. Definitely no grey to it, but still a little bit white. Okay. Let's go down here. Ring post. Normal ring posts, because this is old school, people. And then again, now I need to match the colour, and this is where it's difficult, because obviously I can't see quite what I'm doing because of the lighting, but usually a slightly off black matches the dark black canvas for the apron. Okay, that's the ring post done. Turnbuckle pads, I'm going to go with a gold. And again, this is difficult, but this actually isn't too bad. I can semi-see this now. Ooh, I tend to fade my gold. I don't like yellow gold. People love that. I don't. I like to sort of fade it. But that'll do. For now, that will do. Funnily enough, WCW did yellow turnbuckles anyway, so if it appears yellow, it just looks like I'm doing a hat tip to WCW. Okay, so that's my ring. The only thing I want to do now, after I've done these steps, and this is another thing with these steps, never go full black. They look horrible full black. You want to, again, just lift it up a little bit, the same as you do with the ring posts, and that usually corrects it to the right sort of black. It still looks a little too dark, but that could be the fact that it looks like I'm in pitch black darkness while I'm creating this arena. Let's go to the apron again. So the only thing I didn't do was obviously the final touch of adding my logo. So we're going to slip down into WrestleMania single. Definitely not going to do a double image here. Again, what I usually do when I haven't got that in the way, I'll come to around about here, the center, and just see how it looks. Because you don't want it to look too fat or flat. You want it to look somewhere where the WE logo looks about right, and you can read everything. It doesn't look skew-if or off. I'm actually going to go about there, I think. I also don't want my branding to go under and over the ring apron. I want it to stay visible to the fans, because that's what it's for, mainly for television, obviously. So I'm going to go about there, and then I usually drop the opacity to about 200, depending on the logo. For this one, I'm only going to drop it slightly, because I don't think it needs to be dropped too much. It just helps bring a bit of the texture forward from beneath, which I think really makes it look like it's stuck onto the mat, to the ring apron. And it also, the blacks then get brought through from the apron onto the areas that are black anyway. So again, it just helps it to blend into the ring itself. Now, as for the ring, I think I'm happy with that as my WrestleMania arena so far. I am looking at this sign and wondering if I should just delete it and have that, but then it looks really pathetic just having this WrestleMania LED screen as my WrestleMania arena. It wouldn't be big enough. So I think what I'm going to do is go to the construction and delete the header. And obviously what you can see, which is a problem behind, is a massive WrestleMania 19 sign. I don't want that there. So I've got to look for something that's going to sort of mask it. But also something that isn't going to take over my arena and my current setup. Now, again, what I would do here is try and come dead center in the design area, just so that you know exactly where this is. And then what I would do is, I've actually thought of something quite good that I can do here. Now this usually breaks the game mode. I'll just warn you about this. It's happened before. Yes, it's overlapping. Blah, that's fine. I would just give it like any kind of matte back to it. Oh, that's a bit too shiny. And then, just for good measure, what I'm going to do here is throw in a WWE logo And the reason I'm doing this, you'll see it in a minute, this is sort of my backup in case the game does this bug that it seems intent on doing every year, where it decides if you hide a screen, it just decides to put the screen back on anyway. Now again, you can see that it kind of looks like there's a bit of opacity there anyway, but I just pull it back a little bit to about 225. That's perfect. Now what I do here now, I mean, I like it. I really like that Titantron with the big image, but I don't know if it needs the image when there's already a big logo on the LED below. The only other thing I would be willing to do here is go into stage display, go into Titantron, and then just simply turn it off. So what I've done here is I've provided this massive curtain without the need for the television set, the monitor, the massive Titantron. Now by doing that, but also creating the image on top of it anyway, if for some reason the game bugs out and throws the image on and the Titantron when I preview this later, what will happen is it will hopefully it will simply preview it with the WrestleMania logo, so it won't look bad in any way. Now obviously you can see the header looks a bit weird as well, so I'm going to change the header. And what I'm going to do for that is stage construction. And I'm just going to go to the header. And all I'm going to do is come back out. Because I forgot which one I used. Okay, it's that one. And then I'm just going to move it up. And I know that that's not ideal, but I'm going to move it up because you can see that the whole thing is a rig. But as you saw earlier, this is counterproductive to what I tried to do in terms of making sure the light hit the ring and didn't go too far. You can see that right now it's too far back because it's getting into the ring. So what I'm going to do is send it back. And obviously the lower I drop this, the further away from the ring it gets. But the problem is I don't want it to go behind the curtain unless I can get the whole thing behind the curtain, which I can't. So if I drop it up there, you see that it's way too high. But this brings the light down. Ideally, I'd want it about here, the lighting, somewhere about there. So what I'm going to do now is just switch the header. And the reason I'm doing that is because, as you can see, the light from that specific one, it's not conducive to a good arena at all. I don't like it, but I do like this kind of one. So I'm going to drop back down. I just want to make sure that the header looks quite nice. You don't want it to be too high up, but you don't want it to be too low either. So I usually just put it somewhere that's realistic. And then again, that's a new header now. So that's my new header for my WrestleMania arena. I really struggle with WrestleMania. It's the hardest one because it's the most important for me in my entire calendar. So trying to get this right can actually be really difficult because I'm trying to get something that looks great, but at the same time, it just is a hard thing to create and do well. Now, if I go to other, you can see now that this is my setup, which I actually personally really like. I'm happy with this. This isn't going to be a downloadable arena, so you guys aren't going to see it anyway. All I do now is just turn things off that need to be turned off. I don't like the electronic billboards being on, so I usually just switch them to black. Sometimes I just throw like an image over them, like that, and then just make the image black. That darkens it even more. Okay, so that's that done. Obviously, the lighting I've already done. Crowd chairs, I mean, this is WrestleMania, so maybe I should actually add that. I have seen some people who've managed to get them. I think they managed to get the logo on the seat itself. I'd love to try that, and I just never do. Yep. I don't see it anywhere on the seat. Nope. It's not on the seat. So just on the back of the seats for me. And there you go, just a nice little logo. I also take the opacity down again, because in the real seats, they're not bright and shiny. They're always stuck into the material, so it just doesn't look as obtrusive then if you take the opacity down. Obviously, the camera angle, I just want to pick one that basically gets the essence of the arena. I want to show that it's outdoor. I want to show the entrance. I want to show the arena and the ring itself, of course. So I usually tend to stick with camera angle 1. And then, again, I just double check everything that I've done so far. And finally, the arena name. Now, the way I do mine at the moment, the way that I name them is WCW, WWE. And the reason I do this, it helps me separate the arenas out from the brands that represent them. WrestleMania. Always spell it right, it's really important. Now, I accept that, but what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to create a show, and I'll tell you why. It's a very, very simple reason. I'm not going to create a show because what I want to do here is trial it and make sure the arena looks good itself. So the show won't look good, but I want the arena to look good. So again, I always just go into a normal match. Now what you're going to see here, you're getting to see a little bit more behind my scenes. I've just done all the ratings for every wrestler in the game. If there are 36, by the way, it means that I've dropped them to as low as they can be because I don't want them in my game. It means like I use this Bray Wyatt rather than this one. It helps me differentiate so that I don't pick the wrong wrestler by accident. I'm going to just go with like... Let's go with random. Okay, Bret Hart, Nick Miller. Let's remove the manager. Let's confirm that. And then let's go to the arena. This is the important part. Now, customize. And you'll see all my arenas here. Oh, poo-wings. Right, so I've clearly, it is not allowing me to add the arena that I've just created without a show. You poo-face game. Okay, let's come out of here. Creations, show, new. I'm basically just going to do a really quick edit here of, like, to the point that I'm just going to call it WM. Not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother with the music. Problem with that. Just close your eyes while it's doing the load scenes when we play the game. So we're just going to jump back in, normal, simple one-on-one match. I just want to be Bret Hart today, so I'm going to be Bret Hart. Confirm. Let's see if it gives me a better wrestler than... Yeah, okay. Oh, nice, Kane. That's actually a bit more of a competitive match going on. Again, I'm not bothered about the rules. So now there should be... There you go. Outdoor arena, WM. Now, I'm going to try putting it on nighttime because I want to see if that lighting works. That's the whole point for me. Yeah, everything else is set. Let's just go for it and see what happens. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, It's Eclipse. That's really nice of you. I hope you're enjoying this. This is like a long video just for a Create Arena. I'd be up for that. I would not mind at all. I don't know much actually about the branding stuff. I've not worked too much with people, so you'll have to tell me about that. It's Eclipse. Send me a message and we can talk and I'll find out more of what you mean. So here's Kane coming out. Nice. Now at the moment, the only concern I've got is that Kane obviously has dark lighting. So it could just be that for the reason why it's dark. Let's just look at the background. The lighting rig looks okay. The LED display isn't playing the movie, which is great. I didn't want it to play a movie. Kane's on his way down to the ring. I'm going to skip this now.
What a terrifying sight to behold.
Let's see what Brett's saying. Yeah, so the arena looks actually quite dark. We'll see if that changes after Brett comes out as well, because I actually changed Brett's entrance so that it turned all the arena lighting off. So here comes Nice and Brett. So Brett, we're going to skip this again. Let's get straight to the ring and see what happens. Now, if it's dark, what I want to do, which it looks like it's going to be dark. Oh, that's a mistake that WWE have made, because as you could see earlier, there was nothing I could do to add the lighting to the ring on an outdoor arena. I just assumed it would automatically brighten the arena up. But certainly at night time you can see it does not look good. It looks really weird actually. I do not like this. It's kind of fun that it's darker, but I'm not going to bore you watching the match, so all I'm going to do is quit the match. Brett would have won anyway. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this video after I've made this final change. Because what I want to do now is go into the arena that I created. I want to edit it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back to an indoor arena. That's as simple as it's going to be. I do not like the way that that was lit. That is not how I want my match to be lit when I'm wrestling at WrestleMania. I want everybody to be able to see it. I want to be able to see it. I don't want it to look like it's being wrestled in my garden. So where is it? There you are. So I just jump in. Now what this is going to mean, this is going to change everything because I'm going to lose the stage area as well. But the essence of what I want on the stage is really the LED sign look great, the header look great, the curtain look great. The only thing I'm going to be losing is the context of the band area, which is a shame because I really like the wide stage. I really love it actually, but I can't compromise that for something that the game's done wrong. Now maybe if the game fix that bug, then maybe I'll change it back at some point. But for now, I'm just going to stick with an indoor arena. So I'm going to go back to the venue size because that's all I need to do. So obviously it says some parts will be deleted. I'm assuming that that means I'm going to lose the stage area. Now, oh my word, the LED is also way too big for that stage as well. So what I want to do now is go to... Let's see this. Let's get this right. I want to go to stage construction and I want to go down to stage and ramp. I want to click on stage and I want to make that something that lies on the ground. Again, this has set the camera up in a weird spot, but as you can see now, it's put that on the floor. Header's still there, lighting still looks nice. What this also means is that I might be able to do a little bit more in terms of maybe some props or adding some wall parts just to make it look a little bit better. Because now it looks too much like WCW right now. Although it doesn't look bad, I'm just not entirely happy with it. So let's see what I can add to the walls to make this look a little bit better. Okay, let's go for some... I just like plain curtains. I don't know why, but I just love them. For this one... Ooh, you can add this. The other thing, I wish it would let you rotate the wall parts. I don't know why it doesn't do that. It means that I can't put this at an angle to fit the wall. I just have to kind of have it at this sort of weird right angle. I do like the idea of having this, if I'm honest. I just need to line it up perfectly with where I want it to fit on the side of the arena. Do I want it to be that far forward, or do I want it to go a little bit further back? Yeah, please. Okay, so the lighting's been done there. I've obviously added a big wall part to it that just says WrestleMania. I don't want it to say any numbers because I will obviously use this for more than one WrestleMania. I don't tend to make a new one every WrestleMania. It just... Honestly, it just bores the life out of me to have to do that every time. So I like to create just one each time that I create a WrestleMania arena. Now, for the other side, I'm just going to add something because it obviously looks out of balance. I don't want to add the other one because that's X7 and I don't want it to say that. And there's no way of hiding it. So I will have to add another part that I'm looking for but can't seem to find. I don't want to... No, that's a ridiculous curtain. Now, the problem is that I have with curtains are, of course, that they're almost too plain. I like a little bit of lighting to be added to whatever I'm doing. Now, this one's kind of cool. Don't mind this one because it has the lighting and it adds a little bit of a screen. but I can actually change the screen so that it doesn't look too obtrusive in terms of my arena. Okay. And then if I want, I can add an image to this. Usually I'll add like another WrestleMania logo. Just something that stands up there like a nice little banner. This was something that all of these arenas had at that time anyway. And again, I don't want to make it too much out of proportion. I want to keep it as in proportion as possible. Except that. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to jump out. You can see instantly that the ring now is lit up. And my turnbuckle pads are actually completely the wrong colour as well. They may have looked right before, but they're not now. I'm happy with the arena itself, but I'm not happy with those turnbuckle pads. So what I'm going to change that, and then I'm finished. So let's go into this. The ring, turnbuckle pads, or groups, colour. And then what I want to do now... Yeah, I'm looking at that. I just don't like the colour of those. Firstly, I do want them to be a bit more yellow. And then now it's just a matter of having a look at different colour yellows. Accepting, coming out. That's almost there. That wasn't a bad first attempt. And the reason you do this, I mean, you can change individual turnbuckles, but I do it on my ECW ones, but I don't do it when it comes to these arenas. I don't like changing individual turnbuckles when it comes to WWE or WCW. Much more rare. ECW like to do it at every single pay-per-view. It was really funny actually watching ECW arenas change. And that's it. That is my WrestleMania arena done. So I'm actually okay with that now. Again, I'm going to go in one more time and just sort of play in the arena. Basically, I'm still looking at the WrestleMania sign to the left and thinking, is it white? Because it's white, do I like it? Is it too obtrusive? Does it stand out too much? I like my arenas to kind of blend in. You know, I want you to focus on the match, not the arena necessarily. So... Again, I'm just going to jump in, set up a match, and everything should be good. This time I'm just going to go to, let's go random and then go to the nearest guy that I like. So Shawn Michaels, I'm going to wear his WrestleMania attire that I created, and then, oh perfect, let's go with, geez, this is going to be a tough match. Sting, these are perfect together. This is actually the perfect matchup for a WrestleMania arena that crosses brands. Now again, as you know, my WrestleMania arena still has all the Raw elements to it. But we're going to start that and ignore this part because it's not Raw. Still wish that WE Games would take those numbers off the end of the names. I don't understand why they keep them on. I haven't noticed yet. If you guys know, I'd love to know if they appear on belts. Because last year they did. They didn't at the beginning. And then they released a patch and it messed it up. And then they started appearing on the belts as well. And that was really frustrating. I always get annoyed when I see like Ric Flair 91 on the title belt. It just looks so silly. Okay, here we go. Okay, looks a lot better.
I can't believe he's here!
Now, Sting's come into the ring. I should probably pick a wrestler that isn't going to black out the arena on his entrance every time. But again, I love Sting's entrance, but I'm going to skip it because I really want to see the ring. I'm here for the ring, not the match. Okay, Shawn's got a much brighter entrance. You can see that I've given him like his, I don't know, WrestleMania 28 or 29 attire.
From San Antonio, Texas.
It was the one where he fought against Chris Jericho, in case you're wondering.
27 pounds, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
He should have white wrists. There you go. They were covered over by what he was wearing. Okay, here we go. So the arena looks pretty good.
These competitors are squaring off, looking to outmatch each other.
I'm basically just going to play two moves of this match
such a fear-inducing
and then just stop.
presence. I wouldn't want to be the
Now I
guy
have done
he
move
points
sets
at
for both of these guys, so if you see them doing different things to the game, that's because I've changed them. They are available for upload on Community Creations. You should go and do that, because I actually watched loads of videos to make sure that I got the actual move sets from each of these wrestlers. So both Sting and Shawn Michaels are included in those packs that are on Community Creations. I personally think they're really good packs. You should definitely go and download them. Now, I think I'm going to do another move. I'm getting sucked into the game here, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to pin him and not win.
Look at this.
And then I'm going to turn it off.
Kicks out in time. Yeah.
There you go, WrestleMania match underway. Look good. And I've also done a rating recipe that you guys should look at. It's on my YouTube channel. I've rated all the wrestlers in different ways. It's a very complex system, but once you do it, it really helps for your game. It helps with the simulation of the game, so it really feels a lot better and more realistic when you're fighting against a good wrestler. You tend to get more reversals. When you're fighting against a jobber, you get less reversals, and you can also win the match a lot quicker than you would against somebody like Sting. So, that is it. This has almost been an hour long. I did not intend for that to happen, but thank you so much for staying with me. It's Eclipse. You have been awesome. Thank you for watching this and for commenting. Anyone else who's watching it, thank you so much for watching my channel. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you're not, please let me know. Don't just give me the thumbs down. I really want to know what you think and how I can improve. I'm still new to this. I've literally only been doing these videos for a couple of weeks, so I don't even know how I sound. I don't know if what I'm saying is good, if I make any sense, if I'm boring, all that stuff. I'd love to know. I really want your feedback. The only other thing I'm going to show you before I sign off is my content that I was talking about in game. Now, I've got, you can see I've had 12,085 downloads now. Majority of those are arenas, but I'm going to show you all the content. I'm not going to go through any of it because I've got a minute before there's an hour, and I want to finish this before an hour. My internet is slow. It's a problem, I know. But here are my created superstars. A couple of them are models from other wrestlers. There you go. You can see those there. CGW. Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that. And then you want me to put it in my universe mode. Is that right? As I'm waiting for that response, you can see here I've added loads of logos, but here are my arenas. The biggest one I've got is Starcade 97. I basically did a 1997 pack from WCW, so the top 5 are from that. Road Wild 97 is on there as well. You've got Bash at the Beach 96, November to Remember from ECW. You've got Hardcore Heaven 97, SummerSlam 95, Barely Legal 97, Royal Rumble 94, King of the Ring 98, Survivor Series 98, Super Brawl 97, and then I've added a couple of the WrestleManias from days gone by. My favourite WrestleMania, which was 14. I know it wasn't the best, alright, but it was the favourite one that I had, so I like that one. And then we've got WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, and just a standard weekly ECW arena that I created. So there are my arenas. Belts, standard belts, they're doing pretty well, especially the ECW television title. That's had over 500 downloads, which is insane. I'm very happy with that one. Briefcases, I mean, I just played around with those. I'm not even bothered. Then you've got the shows. Yep, the shows. As you can see, all the logos are on there, and I think that these movesets, they're very good. Nobody's tried Macho Man yet. Maybe you could be the first one to try it. Honestly, they are the most accurate movesets around. I will say that against any other creator, that I believe that mine are the most accurate. I only say that because I've watched hours of footage on each of these wrestlers, making sure I get their top moves into the game. The only ones that won't be in the game are the moves that the game actually doesn't have at all. So if there are ones missing, it may be 1 or 2 between all of these. But it'll only be because WWE2k doesn't offer them in the wrestling movesets that they've currently got. But that's it. Thank you so much. Please follow me on Twitter at xharperco. Message me there. Message me on Instagram at xharper.co. Obviously, use the YouTube channel to comment, to give me feedback, to talk with me. It's a clips. I will have a look at those for you just after I finish this video. Please keep messaging me, and we'll talk about the brand stuff and working out that. I'd love to know your thoughts and what you mean. I don't fully understand it because I'm so new to this, but we can work something out. Thank you so much, guys. You've been awesome. I'm X Harper, and I will see you soon.